Hey everybody, I'm Pat. This is Ray. Welcome to Jetcast. We got the Lions coming in to the Meadowlands to face the Jets at home, and we wanted to go over some keys to the game. Ray, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. I'm nervous. I think a lot of Jet fans are like this. The media seems to be hyping up the Lions right now. A lot of Vegas has taken the Lions, but hey, we've been down this road before. And, I'm nervous like
Well, I
everybody
mean,
else, but I feel we're a resilient team.
it's not. I don't think it's. I don't think it's a lot of hype. I mean, Goff has been playing really well lately. What were the stats that we have on him for TDs?
His last 7 games, he's got 11 touchdowns and 1 interception. So, I mean, he's being secure in the ball. I believe their offense is one of the top rated offense in regards to average yards per game. So he's got them humming. They're no slouch, even though their record doesn't say they're that good. Without a
Yeah,
doubt,
you said one interception in the last 7 games, and
correct.
we already have issues all of a sudden getting turnovers. So
Right, without a doubt.
I don't think it's going to be such a cakewalk that some fans are trying to make it out to be. I think we will win, but it's definitely going to be a hard game. So let's get into some of the keys of the game.
All right, let's do it. Key number one for me, without a doubt, Zach Wilson, the patience in the pocket. This is his time to shine. I think a lot of Jet fans feel he's probably going to get these next couple weeks with Mike White being out. Without a doubt, this is going to make or break his potential career with the Jets. I'm looking for the patience in the pocket, the footwork. He suffered from it last year in his rookie year when he would fall backwards in the pocket, his footwork would be all over the place, and the ball would sail on him. He reverted back to that this year as well. John Beck seemed to take it under control last year after the bye week. Unfortunately for us, it hasn't worked out that well. So he's had these last 3 weeks. I want to see him making quick decisions, accurate throws, especially on those short passes. We saw him miss a pass to Braxton Barrios a couple weeks ago. It seems like the game was absolutely sped up in his head. Hopefully he's had time to really go back, especially in the film room, and look at what he's been doing and look what he needs to improve and going forward. So that's what I'm looking for, and that's the number one thing that I have on my list.
Yeah, I mean, you could see his footwork was getting progressively worse each game. Um, you know that game against the Patriots was just so horrendous to the point where it wasn't just his footwork; it was his decision making and not even knowing the play. I mean, there was at least 2 plays where he handed the ball off where it clearly was a passing play, and you have guys on the offensive line throwing their hands up. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, he's not playing if Mike White could find one out of the 10 doctors that apparently that he saw. If he got one doctor to say he's good, then Zach isn't playing. But it's time to step up. It's time to put your big boy pants on and stop making excuses like he did in the past. So my key is the defensive line. Well, one of my keys is the defensive line. We're not getting pressure the last few games like we're accustomed to out of the front four. I don't know if Quinnen's playing. I think he's still a game time decision. He did practice a little bit today, but he's dealing with a calf injury. Thank God it's not a knee. It looked real bad against Minnesota. He is the sack leader on the team, and that offense is like we said is really predicated on the pass. If we can get to Goff, if we can get in his head, if we can start hitting him, only good things are going to come out of it. If we can't, then we're relying on Sauce and Reed and the secondary to hold up, and I don't think they're going to be able to for long against that offense. So the defensive line has got to find a way to get home. I hope Quinnen, even if he's not 100%, he can still make a difference. And we know he plays hurt. I mean, the guy dislocated his shoulder and popped it back in. I think that was the Bears game, right?
I believe so. I'm trying to think back right now. There's just been so much that has happened.
I know this team is driving me nuts, but I want to see Quinnen out there, even if he's not 100%, because he he forces you to double team him, and that's going to open up opportunities for other guys on the line.
Yeah, well, if we continue on your point, let's just look at these last few games. I mean, we can go back to we had Chicago and Minnesota. The three prior games, you had the Bills and the Patriots. With the Patriots, with the Bills being twice. Sorry,
Right.
you had the Bills and the Patriots. We had 18 sacks in those three games. In the two games since, we have 4. And one of those games is against Chicago and a backup quarterback. And the bottom line is, this defensive line is one of the top paid defensive lines in all of football, and the last couple of weeks they have not played like it. I understand, yeah, we're playing. We saw what happened with Kirk Cousins, for crying out loud, today against Indianapolis. Yeah, they came back and won, but these are winnable games, and I don't want to hear the excuses. Carl Lawson needs to start getting home, and if Quinnen Williams is out, it's the next man up. We've seen it time and time again. I can see the Jets sliding Franklin Myers inside. Maybe this is the game where Huff and Johnson get more opportunities on the outside.
I was just going to say, I want to see JJ more.
100%.
I want to see JJ more.
Justify that first round status.
Yep, and he's been making plays lately, so they got to get him in there more.
All right, so let's get on to the next point, the third point of the game. And without a doubt, it is something that has killed Zach Wilson pretty much throughout his career, I feel. This offense needs to find a way to stay on the field, point blank simple. I don't care what you have to do, whether it's a screen game, which we used to run very effectively, some of those wide receiver bubbles, getting the ball down the field. Zach Wilson has to start trusting his receivers. We drafted a guy in Garrett Wilson, 10th overall, who jumped out of the gymnasium. We've seen how he plays in throughout his basketball career. He's got to start trusting him in those one-on-one scenarios. The facts are is this Lions offense is very good. Whether or not, they're elite, obviously they're not, but Jared Goff is an experienced veteran quarterback. He knows what he's doing, and they're going to kill us if we start going 3 and out, especially early. I'm worried about Zach Wilson, maybe potentially, if the Lions win the toss, without a doubt, I feel they're going to defer because they're hoping they can get the Jets out on a 3 and out, and the boos are probably going to rain down on Zach Wilson and his comeback parade. So that is going to be the third key to this for me is the offense and if they're able to maintain drives, whether or not we just get 3 points or if we're able to punch it in, that'd be great. But especially starting off the game, we cannot have 3 and out drives.
No, it's going to come down to this game is going to come down to a possession battle. I feel like whoever has the ball longer is probably going to end up winning the game. Keeping Jared Goff in that offense off the field is imperative. It really is. I know we have a great defense, and I trust our defense, but you don't have to worry about it when they're not on the field.
Yep, and one last stat for you. The Lions are 11th in the NFL currently at 128 yards a game. That paired with an offense that continuously goes 3 and out, you're asking for danger. So that point could almost be moved up to the number 1 point in the game, where it is going to be so imperative for us to sustain drives. We've seen it a few weeks prior when the offense kept getting off the field when Zach was in the game, you could almost see the energy being drained out of the guys on the defensive side of the ball. A few good plays, solid plays on offense will without a doubt energize those guys on the defensive
Right.
side.
You gotta give them some rest. And one of the ways that you sustain drives is running the ball. Um, Bam Knight has got to have a big game tomorrow. Um, I trusted Mike White a lot more in the passing game right now than I do Zach. Um, I know we saw flashes of Zach being able to throw those tight window throws last year, but it's not materializing this year. Um, we said it when he was starting. If he is throwing over 25 times in a game, we're losing that game. He relies on the running game. He relied on Breece Hall a lot. And now Bam Knight needs to step up and be that guy. Robinson is not that guy. Michael Carter is not an every down back, even though he is electric when he has the ball in his hands. Bam Knight really needs to take that torch and become what we need him to be in the running game. Now, I'm not sure how good Detroit is against the run, but we're gonna have hopefully a offensive line at the moment that is not in flux, right? Dwayne Brown has been playing very well with a torn rotator cuff. Fant is now back in at right tackle. Herbig is playing. Lincoln Tomlinson is in. We should be able to run the ball, and we need Bam Knight to make those cuts and hit those holes that they open up.
Yeah, well, let's go back to just last week against Minnesota. Bam Knight, 15 carries, 90 yards, 6 yards a clip. I'm a big Michael Carter fan, but at the end of the day, I think we can go with the eye test here. Bam Knight right now has just an electric first step. He seems like he's just those fresh legs that what we're looking for. I'd be really interested to see if we start using our backs the way that the backs are being used in San Francisco. I would like to see a couple two-back sets. Leave it where
Yep.
instead of having Braxton Barrios in the slot or being the end-around guy, maybe you have Michael Carter doing it with Bam Knight coming out of the backfield, because they're both the kind of back where the first guy very rarely takes them down. Or if they do, they're constantly falling forward. So I want to see Mike LaFleur get a little bit in his bag of tricks when it comes to the running back situation, because I feel that is going to be the key to our success tomorrow in sustaining those drives. If we go back to our third point, the key to getting those 3 and outs and staying on the field is we're going to have to be so persistent in the run game. Constantly, time and time again, we've seen it where LaFleur will get 5 yards a carry, 6 yards a carry, and then all of a sudden on first and second down, he'll start airing it out. I want to see us for one time consistently stay with the run game, wear this defensive line of Detroit down, and that will allow Zach Wilson, who is one of the better quarterbacks when it comes to off-scheduling plays, allow him to be the play-action quarterback we drafted him to be, rolling out to his right, finally using those tight ends in Conklin and Uzama like we dreamed about since the preseason prior to him getting hurt. And that's going to be the fourth key for us.
Yeah, I would love to see some two back sets. And this isn't a knock on Michael Carter. He's just a different type of back than Bam Knight is and Brees is. Brees is an all around back. He can run up the middle. He can go around the edge. Bam Knight is more of an up the middle guy. Michael Carter is more of a around the edge and catching out of the backfield kind of guy. It's just they're different types of backs, and in the league right now, it's very rare where you have your single back that does everything. The days of Curtis Martin are gone.
Very select few, and Christian McCaffrey and Derrick Henry, those
Yep.
guys. Unfortunately, Breece Hall has that potential, but he's not healthy right now, obviously.
All right. So final thoughts, Ray. What is your score prediction for the game?
My score prediction for the game, I think I'm trying to be very honest with myself. I think we're really going to struggle to put up points. There's nothing that I have seen out of Zach Wilson that has showed me anything is going to change. He's answering all the questions right. He seems to be excited, but I think that we're going to struggle to put up points. I see us losing this game 24-13. I just think that the Lions are going to capitalize on our offense that usually starts out slow. Unfortunately, we've become one of those second half teams where under previous head coaches, we usually score a touchdown in the first drive and then don't score for the rest of the game. But, I'm trying to put my biases aside. I look at the quarterback situation on both teams right now. Who has the advantage there? And without a doubt, it's Detroit. Until I see otherwise, I have to go with my gut feeling on this, and I just don't see the Jets pulling this out.
I see it a little differently. I trust our defense to keep Detroit at bay. It's going to be really cold in New Jersey tomorrow. Detroit is a dome team. I think we'll be able to keep them in check. It just really comes down to how many points can Zach and the offense put up. If they get the running game going, then all bets are off the table at that point. I'm gonna say we win. I'm gonna say it's probably 2017. Um, it's gonna be a close game. May come down to a last second field goal, maybe in overtime or at the end of the fourth quarter. But I'm a glass half full kind of guy. Um, I think we win. I think our playoff hopes are still there. And let's be honest. I don't think Mike White is coming back this year. I think from what I saw, it's a 3 to 5 week injury for him, which means he's done for the year, basically. Um,
Right.
Regardless of how Zach plays,
Well,
and
Zach
maybe
gets you to the playoffs. You're going to stick with him, right?
of course, but if the wheels fall off, there's no point at that point. There's no point in putting Flacco in at that point because you're gonna want to see Zach at least try and push through it.
Mm-hmm.
He may, and you don't have to worry about losing the locker room. I don't think because the team knows you can't go back to Mike White because he's injured. It'd be different if he was healthy, you
Correct.
know. So it's a situation where you either Zach steps up, gets us to the playoffs, or he crumbles. We miss the playoffs, and then we're looking for a veteran quarterback. So big game tomorrow. So that's all we got, guys. If you're new here, please subscribe. If you've been here before, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you at our halftime space on Twitter.